talking about curfew. The same people who are, if someone's pocket is full and you are able to just handshake this policeman, they will let you go. They will not even get you. But now, is it for those who do not have? Why are we playing double standards? We need to get to a place whereby if it is no, can it be no? If it is yes, can it be yes? Men that have been trained to take care of people, let them take care of people and not try to do things that will please this one and not please that one. Let's get to a place of respecting life. I will still go back. Someone quoted that scripture, but let me say, you know, it looked right for Cain to have killed his brother Abel, and he knew no one was going to know about it. But the question was not even asked by Cain, his brother, no, Cain, his father or mother. The question was asked by God, where is your brother? And all of us need to know we are answerable. We may not be known, even we can kill in secret, we can do it and run, we can even go court-free, but there is still a question, where is your brother? We are not one's brother because we were born together. We are citizens of this country. We are one another's keeper, and we need to just practice justice everywhere, not to some, but to all. According to me, let's not voice up just because it's America, it's far from us. What are we saying from where we are? What are we doing from where we are? Everyone needs to know life is from God, and it must be respected by all, whether black, green, red, whatever it is, whether poor or rich. We just have to know life is a gift from God. We are alive because of him. We cannot just get people's lives out just because they have no help of themselves, just because maybe they could not give you something to keep them living. It is wrong, and we have to speak about it, and we have just to say things must change. It can't be the same all through.
Awesome. Great. Thank you very much, Becky, for your contribution. Let me appreciate Alice Karanja who's joined us. Sheila Kekayaya, following from South B. Mili Mwaura, thank you. Letitia Suke. Milio Kumu is on the show. Cherilo Pija, Grace Mwangi, Saima Luenya, Recho Mumbua, Muna Tisande is watching, Anne Moveni, and Letitia Suke says, law enforcement starts from the top. The legislative body preaches water but drinks wine. That's why police who are charged with the responsibility of protecting and serving citizens within the confines of the law have the audacity to abuse it. One Mini Wangeshi is watching, George Musioka, Ann Sang is following, Ann Mainga, God bless you. It's our friends. I want to read you the excerpt my daughter wrote. And I know sometimes she can really be very political, but I thought it kind of just brings some sense of light into this discussion. She says, how can you as a Kenyan see George Floyd as the only legible victim when we have Yasin Moyo, Calvins Omondi, Githurai 3, David Cairo, and many others? Unless you've bought into the Afrophobic idea that Africa is a jungle where every kind of depravity is normal and inevitable, and poor Africans are the lowest of all human beings. I mean, she just posted that on our Facebook page. And then, of course, from and I don't know whether these are reliable news, but it says Kenya may have a very low infection rate for COVID-19, but the country also has a dubious distinction of leading the world in the number of citizens killed by the police in incidents related to the enforcement of coronavirus rules. Kokonyo, that is what we are dealing with, my brother. I mean, we are dealing with a scenario. Tembea vibaya baba utakula rungu bwana. Bwana sio hivyo bwana, tukupate uko quarantine umeshikwa baada ya curfew. And we saw this young man, this singer Echo Dida amekaa quarantine sababu alikataa kuonga mtu. What Joseph Ojima was mentioning earlier on, this happens here. My point is, guys, it's great to shout. My brother said it's great to shout about George Floyd given, but guys, can we not then have double standards? Why don't we shout even louder when it's happening locally, Kokonyo?
Perhaps the history of how systems, I don't want to mention any office, I don't want to mention the police, but the system in our country, especially generally in Africa, the systems are very, very harsh to the people who have come out to demand justice. We have seen human rights, group leaders disappearing from the face of the world. And some of them, their bodies have been found later on. And you see, the justice they were trying to demand wasn't basically for their blood people, but their fellow citizens. The history itself has sent some fear in most of us Kenyans, including even the men of the clock, because our history again shows that some men of clock who have disappeared, who have been dealt with badly because they demanded even from the pulpit, leave alone joining the demonstrators in the streets, but even from the pulpit, demand justice for some lost lives and the people who have been, killed without any good explanation. As a result of that, perhaps, many people fear to come out, openly, for the fear of losing their own lives. We have had this, we have had stories in the media that they came, picked my husband, and the last time I saw him, it was when he was called out by some people, and then that was the end. In some former regimes, we saw some people being taken to detention without any trial. So with all kind of historical injustice, it makes people to fear. It makes people to fear, coming out and demand for justice and all that, because the system themselves will work against not even people. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Kokonyo. Ken, what is your 2-cent contribution to this situation? And let's bring it closer. And every time I have this conversation, Dima, I am looking at this generation around me. These are younger people. These, may not have those big offices like the bishop, the apostle, but we are the younger people that are seeing these evils. And the question begs, you mentioned earlier on, the bishops ain't talking, the apostles are not talking, but we are talking. But what can we do to be able to change the situation?
Thank you, Matthew. Before Ken comes on, I know it's Ken to come on. There's something just itching me, and thank you so much, Cox and Becky.
I said I need a fire extinguisher. I can see the smoke coming out of your ears.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah.
Kenya right now is under curfew as we speak. I know we are in the UK with Gitau, but you guys are locked in as we speak.
Yes.
By law, the president declared about a month or 2 months ago that there's curfew and there's no traveling from one place to the other. You can't go from Nairobi out unless it is essential services. The other day, there were about 40 MPs who went to Kajiado. I don't know what you call that. And yet, and that's how biased the law is. Nobody speaks against it. Why wouldn't the police not be corrupt? Because the leaders themselves are corrupt. I know some of these things cannot be said, like Cox said there, because we live there, but let me just say it for the sake of saying it. It is, and the worst thing, and this is what God told me, and I'm saying now as a prophet, as a man of God, what God told me. Anybody who does anything unrighteously in the name of thinking they have power, my friends, they will pay for it. Some right now, like Becky said it, she said it with anger about somebody being clobbered in. He has no house to go into. He is being killed in the street because he's hungry. Yet there's money given, Pastor Matthew, in millions and in billions to help people, and you are eating it. Ukanunua magari ya V8, ama magari za Prado, or you build a house with it. You know what the Lord was ministering to me the other day? These people will pay it with their lives. God will allow sicknesses to come on them and disaster, that the money they have eaten or they have put in the bank, it will not be able to treat them or their families.
Hey, okay. Serious. Hey.
Pastor Ken, yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to echo some of his words, maybe support a few, but refute others. But it is well. It is well. It is of necessity to note, someone said that laws are spider webs through which the big flies pass and the little ones get caught. Some of the laws that we have in Kenya are a little bit injurious, especially to those who are not privy or privileged to know the nitty-gritties of the law. Apparently, the so-called the high and the mighty are well conversant with the laws because of the moral decadence of the day, in which every single time they find themselves into courtrooms because of the things they have done, but they know how to manipulate the law. They know what to do with those who are supposed to, you know, be judges and what have you. They know how to bribe them. They know how to sort them out, and ultimately get away with anything that has been, any crime that has been committed. But to the Kenyan citizen who is not aware or is privy of the laws that govern the land, anybody will take advantage of them because a majority of them don't know the law. Like, for example, when the Constitution was promulgated, the people from where I come from and where Odima comes from, as long as our great father had read the Constitution, then we have all read. So the problem is not only systemic, the problem is not only with issues of, structures and what have you, but the problem is also with the Kenyan citizen. They don't know the law. How many times are you caught without a driving license and you are taken to court, and which is against the law? You are supposed to produce your driving license at least within 24 hours. But there's some of us, because of fear and injustice, and because they know the person who has got the cape or the crown has got more power than them, they end up succumbing themselves to, bribing and corruption and what have you. I told you, like the other time I was headed to Narok because I was cruising my small car. I was caught by the police, and the police told me that I need to pay something small. And I told them, I'm not going to do that. I'm a man of the cloth. And the police themselves told me, if you read your Bible, there's a place that is written, agree with your accuser quickly. And so if they go to that extent and you end up doing the same, I guarantee you, you as a man of the cloth will not have the moral authority to address any social injustice because you eat with them. Because birds of the same feather flock together. At times I hear, there's a time I had the pastors complaining and saying, we should not give the politicians our pulpit. We said we should not accept blood money that is coming to the church. Then a pastor in one of, actually a bishop, in one of one of our counties, which I don't want to mention for lack of, I'm afraid of my security, so I don't want to mention that part. But that bishop actually received it and said they have been praying and the Lord has provided. The Lord has provided through a pastor. But on the other hand, these are the same people who are condemning that, you should not allow blood money, neither should you allow the politician on the pulpit. It becomes a challenge. This is the moment whereby the Evangelical Alliance of Kenya, that actually stands on behalf of the Pentecostal, this is the time they need to talk about the injustices that are taking place as the body that is mandated by the Christians to be able to stand out there. because of this. Not all of us as Christians might, have the opportunity to talk to the high and the mighty and be heard. But the people that we know are like our fathers or our leaders. Those are the people that have been mandated to talk on our behalf. But if you take tea with the same lawmakers, and you're given something in your pocket, I'm not insinuating that the EAK was given, but I'm just saying, just in case one of them is given something, because oftentimes I realize, like in Parliament, if a law is supposed to be passed, there will always be those people who will be paid to make sure the law is passed, just to be able to favor a particular candidate. But there are times as men of the cloth, we cannot be trusted because in one way or the other, we've been lured in, we've ended up, we've been given something, and we've ended up singing the songs of the politicians. And if we do sing the songs of the politicians, then we have absolutely no right or moral authority to castigate or condemn whatever injustices is being done. Let me close by this, Reverend Martin. The IPOA keeps on telling us about the injustices that have been committed by the police, but they never tell us whether any police has been prosecuted. Today, they said from the time we had the coronavirus, 15 people have already died in the hands of the police. But they cannot be able to pinpoint which policemen are this. Are they going to be brought to book? Are they going to be judged? We don't know. People who killed the late Embakasi MP, Mugabe, we don't know what happened. The people who killed Juma, we don't know what happened. The people who killed Onsando, we don't know what happened because there's nobody who's talking about it. Why? Because this law is meant for the high and the mighty. If you don't have money, you cannot be able to get justice in our country, Kenya. Now, if you don't know people, you cannot be able to get justice for our people in Kenya. This is a time whereby all the MPs and the CSS who had that crowd, talking to them together, not observing social distancing, they are supposed to have been arrested or taken to quarantine, but they were not. But if they find an innocent Ekodida who has, gone past curfew, and you take him to quarantine, while you as the lawmaker, you are the one who, normally passes the laws in Parliament, you are found with over 1,000 people, bumper to bumper, and you're not being arrested or questioned. The president did not talk about it. I was actually, very sad when I heard what he was talking about. He never addressed the issues of Kariobangi South, about 5,000, 8,000 families that are there. He never addressed that. He never addressed in his speech the people in Narok who are murdering one another because of cattle rustling. We didn't hear him talk about that. We only had him praising our forefathers for the things they had done. But what are you doing currently? Why can't you be able to sort out the things that are going on so that we realize not everyone is above the law? We must all be keepers of the law. That's why one day I blocked a very high person from the road because he was driving on the wrong side and I was on the right side. I know I should only get out of the way when there's an ambulance or, the president is passing or the deputy, not any other person. But because we as Kenyan citizens are afraid of the law, we would rather get into a ditch for an MP to pass with his V8 simply because he's called a Mheshimiwa. It is not right. If they put up the law, they should, be the first people who are obeying that particular law. Thank you.
Wow. I'm telling you guys, I think I wish I had the whole night to kind of just walk through this talk and this discussion, as we continue to delve into some of this. And honestly speaking, there's a lot of injustices, a lot of problems that we see with our police, a lot of problems we see with our institutions and so on and so forth. And I don't know. Well, the other day, of course, that was BPI, and there's been a clamor for a change of the constitution. But I'm wondering whether any of the things that we are raising will be part of what needs to be changed as far as the constitution is concerned. Because kweli kabisa, we cannot continue to watch this happen. I mean, we cannot continue to see police clobbering people. And it used to be a police force. Then some time back, it was sent to a police service, kind of just to give it a better packaging in the hope that the police will now begin to understand that they are not a force, they are supposed to give a service. But that doesn't seem to be the case here, guys. Well, we are wrapping it up for the night because my time is spent. I want to ask you to give your parting shot. I was beginning with the lady here, moving all the way to the men from the Queensland. And by the way, Oscar was mentioning you, Odima. He seems to love to see you. You know, he was like, Odima is back. Pastor Oscar Amisi, Reverend Oscar Amisi.
Okay.
He was quoting. In fact, this is what he was saying. Let me just read this. He said, "Wow, Odima is back." You know. And, okay. And one Catherine Kahora says, "Very true. They will pay with their lives." So they seem to be confirming your prophecy. You know, Reverend Odima. Moses Teach says, "Odima Viva." You seem to be a hero here, Odima. You know.
Not really. Not really. Matthew, let me say this, Matthew. I know yes, go on. Just say what you want to say. Yes. Yeah, I know you are. I know we are concluding this, and
yes,
this is what I feel. You just say that statement, and let me just if I'm wrong, I want you to correct me. At times we may be waiting for the so-called fathers, but the so-called fathers, their teeth has already been removed. I believe it is our time now to rise up and to call it as it is. Just like Gitao said, Ken said, Becky said, Kokonyo said, you said, Matthew, Pastor Oscar is there, they're not here, Ngetich is there, some of us. We need to call it as it is. And what I feel right now in my heart is, sorry for saying this, but our forefather, our first President Kenyatta, you could not mess around. I know that is, God rest his soul in eternal peace. But there were things that our forefather could not allow to happen. When the Lord called him home and Moi took over, I remember Moi saying, "Siku moja mutakuja kulia." And Moi took over and Moi went. There are some things Moi could not allow in his government. Then we had our former president, Kibaki, who left. Now we have our current president. God bless him. We are praying for him. What we need to see is our president, and we are praying for him, rise up and stop some of these things that we are hearing. You know, I want to see the president, the Constitution, Matthew. Even if you change the Constitution 10 times, they're the same people who are coming into power. This Constitution, if you have the right people in power, this Constitution will still work for us. But the problem is we have people in there that think otherwise. Whether you bring a prime minister, you have a president, you have got two deputies, that you divide this thing all over. That is not our problem. Our problem is that we have men and women who are corrupt. Those corrupt men need to leave way. That God can bring other. Call it black and white.
Would you vote for a Kuruwekot?
Yes. You know.
Thank you.
We need a clean sweep, clean from the top.
I hear you.
Clean sweep.
I hear you, Bishop. Let me just say this so that I appreciate my viewers. I appreciate Moses Ngetich, who says judgment challenge should begin from the house of God. And then Letitia Suke says, as citizens, we need to be conversant with the law. I think that was Ken was mentioning earlier on, so that we can be able to speak against injustices done by police. And then, of course, Oscar misses again, there's fire on the set. Matthew, you need a fire extinguisher. Oscar, and then, of course, Faith Karibo replying to Oscar says, sure. And then Moses Ngetich says, Oduori Viva. John Mutai is watching. Moses Ngetich back with, when you are in government, you are taught table manners. In other words, they teach you how to eat, right? Well, guys, this is the deal. I totally feel you. Dima. We have serious challenges, and especially in terms of leadership. With the likes of what Gitao just chimed in there in the person of Ekuru Aukot, that came up with the initiative Punda Mechoka, ilipigiliwa juju chini, is no longer anything to be hard. Well, maybe somewhere in history it will be revived. We do not know. But I think there is a lot of education, whether it is civic education, whether it is whatever we need to be able to raise with our populace, because there's a lot that is a Kenyan psyche, that is a Kenyan mindset. Let's just be honest. Because yes, leaders do stuff. Yes, we see things that we do not like, and it's lots of us would, given an opportunity, would want to cut that snake's head and slay it. But the reality is this, that there's something seemingly in our system that needs to change. And I think we as men of the clock need to be at the place where we need to begin to be intentional in terms of how we train our people, how we teach our people. Because the reality is this, come 2022, and soon, and suddenly, people jump into their tribal cocoons, people have a favorite person because they say it's our time to eat, so they want to do so and so. And a lot of the things that are also happening is a clear indication, a clear reflection of a society. You know, police may be corrupt, but they don't steal money from your pocket. Somehow they convince you to give them money to get away. And so sooner or later down the road, you learn how to bribe, because that's a way of life here. We have traffic lights. People now don't obey traffic lights here. You British, when you come here and you're driving, you don't just stop because it's a red light. You've got to check behind and see nobody's following up. They'll bang you from the behind because they are thinking you should be driving through. You know, and that's a problem in our way of life. You know, so my question is, as you give me your parting shot, because my time is gone, what should we do to change that way of? It's not just leaders are bad and corrupt, given. But I think also as Kenyans, we must take responsibility and begin to do what is right. That, for me, is very, very critical. Let me begin with you, Guitar, then down to Ken, to Kokonyo, to, of course, Odima, and we'll finish with the lady.
Becky is protesting.
Actually, she's protesting because she says she's running out of charge. Let us give us a chance, and so that if he runs out of charge, then we can let her go. And then Nikita, you can take over. Sorry, Becky.
I was protesting because my brother had said we begin with the lady, then we end. So I was wondering what money has just been poured.
Becky is a Kenyan thing, you know.
Yes, money has been poured.
Anyway,
yes,
it's been a great moment just listening to what we are talking about. One of the things I'm learning out of this is it's important to know that all of us are seeing the wrong things that are happening. So I believe that because we are the people seeing the wrong things that are happening, we need to find out what is the right thing that should be done and lead the way in the right things being done. And this is because, friends, history will judge us harshly. If we continue to look at everything the way it is and just continue to condone what we are looking at, history will judge us harshly. We just have to get to a place and say, enough is enough. I know many times there is the fear of how about if this and that happened. But let me just say, enough is enough. We need to get to a place whereby we cannot remain silent when we continue seeing things go wrong. It will be an important thing just to find out, what do we do? We don't have to just remain silent. I know we talked about laws, we talked about constitution, but let me tell you, friends, even if we change the laws and change the constitution, the monkeys are still the same. Someone said that the forest may be different, but the monkeys are still the same. So we really need to get to a place of saying, how can we, if it is possible, this is if it is possible, how do we kill the old monkeys? How do we get off the old monkeys and bring in the new ones? Maybe those who have not been corrupted, those who do not know these things. How do we do things in a new way? There has to be a change of mindset whereby we can do things in the right way and begin to go the right way so that we can see the change that we are looking for. And change does not begin with someone else. Change begins with me. We've already said we can see the world being corrupt It may be that it has begun with us. So change begins with us, and we need to bring in the change that we are looking out for. Our mind must be changed, and we might begin to see things in a new way. And to all that have all these things that we are saying, someone may be feeling guilty somewhere because of some of the injustices that have just happened. We still continue to demand justice. It is important to know that justice must prevail. And because of that, it may be sad that God had to talk to Cain when Cain denied about what had been happening. And you know what? We have a culture of denying, of saying, no, it is not this way, it's not that way. The culture of denying even things, even when you've been caught on camera, you can still deny. That culture is very real. But I just want to say, God said one thing: the blood of your brother is crying on the ground. When the blood of our brothers are still crying on the ground, it doesn't matter how far we go, it shall still catch with us. My brother Odima just came out. You know, when you have Odima in the house and you have Ken in the house, the two of them, the extinguisher must be very big. But the truth of the matter here is that the blood of our brothers are crying on the ground. We cannot continue to listen and be silent. We must arise and do something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Becky. Oh, the forest may be different, but the monkeys are the same. I like that. Well, guys, Guitar, what is your parting shot in a minute as we wrap it up for the night?
We face a huge challenge, and the more the systems are being exploited, the harder it's going to be to make a change. I still remain an optimist that things can be better, things can get better. And I feel we need to move from just making noises, which is good, to being more strategic. How does the church play a strategic role in bringing about lasting, positive, meaningful change in the country? And I think high time that the church would interrogate the other sector of political leadership, church, country leadership that never gets airtime in our current status at the moment. Let's interrogate the Boniface Mwangis. Let's interrogate the Ekuru Courts. Let's find out what it is they have to say. Is it sustainable? Is it meaningful? Is it something that can be sold to the public? And if we think that that is something worth going for, let's stand behind those leaders. And stand meaning we might be abused, we might be ridiculed by the current crop, but let's tie our mast to saying enough is enough. We are putting our mast to new forms of leadership. End of.
Thank you very much, Gitao. Ken, 1 minute of your parting shot as we wrap it up for the night.
Yeah, these are my humble submissions. Today I'm running away from my 2 cents. But these are my humble submissions.
Yes.
That it is unfortunate that in Kenya, at such a time as this, justice is always sold to the highest bidder, and the highest bidder will always run away with it. Yeah. We need to understand as Kenyans today that it is not unpatriotic to denounce an injustice committed on our behalf. Perhaps it's the most patriotic thing that we can do whenever we demand justice. Those are my humble submissions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Emmanuel Kokonyo, your humble submissions or your 2 cents? Your mic is muted, Kokonyo.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me now?
Absolutely. Go on.
Yes, my humble submission. Gitao. My humble submission comes from the book of Proverbs 29 and verse number 4. Proverbs 29 and verse number 4. The Bible says, the king gives stability to the land by justice, but a man who takes bribe overthrows it. So I just want to bring ourselves, because most of us in this discussion panel, we are leaders.
Yes.
We need to examine ourselves. Whatever we do daily, the kind of groups we keep around ourselves, and what we think as leaders. Does it serve justice? Does it bring stability in the society? And again, we are now getting ready for the general election in 1 or 2 years' time. Tumeshapanda pori jipya, lina miti mipya, matunda yameiva. Je, tunahamisha tumbili na nyani wale wale ambao wametulia mashamba yetu, tunawahamishia kwenye pori jipya? Nimemaliza.
Kokonyo, tafadhali tupatie maana bayana na maana batini ya maneno ambayo umetamka kwa sasa. Asante.
Basi tumbili basi na nyani mpya. Let me just say this before Joseph Odiwe gives us his closing comments. I want to appreciate one, Anna Mahinga, who says, we as Christians can start from somewhere. Unity is in prayer. Whatever we agree here on earth is agreed in heaven. Whatever we lose will be loosed in heaven. I want to appreciate, of course, Rachel Immaculate and Esther Okoko for being on the show. Faith Kerubo is Pastor Becky, you nailed it. And then, of course, she says, woman of God, you nailed it. Honorable Mose Kimanzi is watching a teach. Moses get teach says, Boniface Mwangi has a long way to go. Let's wait for his sponsors to back off. The answer to you, guitar. Chrissy Kenya, thank you. I
do not know the Kenyan politics as much.
Did you hear that?
Yes, I've heard that.
Anauliza mji wako alifungiwa Western ama ni barakoa umevaa?
Saizi tumejiweka kwa wanadhiri mpaka corona ishe.
Asante. Of course, and Faith Kerubo says, Pastor Fafanua, we understand. You killed me. Anyways, Joseph Otima, your parting shot as we wrap it up. I wish you had all the time. I'm having fun, but time is gone. My goodness, I'm sorry I've kept you guys here. Just give us your parting shot as we wrap it up for the night.
My parting shots will be in the book of Galatians chapter 6 and verse number 7 that says, do not be deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, that he will also reap. I won't say this without fear or contradiction. I know that I was a little bit overtaken when I was saying some points. Let them know, whosoever hears this voice, Pastor Matthew, and wherever they are, or they're not able to hear, but they will hear it in another way. Whatsoever they have sown or they have done, whether you're a politician, you're a man of the cloth, or you are a layman or a member, you will pay for it. God is not deceived. And number two of that, to be honest, the other day I was kneeling down and I was praying for leaders, and especially I was praying for Kenya. You know what I heard so clearly? Don't pray for them. Listen to this guitar. Don't pray for them to change. Pray for them to leave. Watoke wote. So my parting shots ni ya kwamba Mungu awafagie wote and bring in new leaders. Waende. Waende kabisa, waende. Mungu awatoe wote.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. You know, my parting shot is a simple challenge to the Kenyans, by the way. I am so pissed off by my local MP. Someone goes into a disco, shoots the DJ, guy's in hospital, a bill of 16 million is still being paid. Not a Kenyan made so much noise. It was just a little story, and then it went under. George Floyd, of course, in the U.S. is killed by a policeman. It is heinous. It is cruel. It is, but at the end of the day, those are two, for me, very, very similar scenarios and situations. America is burning now because of one person. Kenya, we are still going on with our lives like nothing happened. The boy is still in hospital. he may never walk again. But these politicians is still my MP and is still walking free on the streets of Nairobi and teaching our children chemistry and stuff on Facebook. God forbid. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time that I had. I absolutely about to do today. Thank you for Kokonyo for joining us. At least you've been away for a while. We totally appreciate. Tushapanda miti kila kitu ili sasa tuenda tumbiri na nyani wapya pale tuone kutakwenda namna gani. Asante sana Kokonyo. Thank you Gitau. Thank you Ken. We appreciate Becky. I think our gadget Isha charge. And thank you Joseph Otima as always.
Thank you, sir. My pleasure.
God bless you. Thank you for those of you that have been sending your messages, like Mongina Sue McIntosh, Andrew Peter saying, great way of finishing a debate. I love it. Regina Mkandoe, clapping your hands, Grace Mwangi and Ruth Kyoko. God bless all of you that have watched us tonight. This has been your host, Reverend Matthew Ombua. And I've been having coffee together with my buddies, of course, on Matthew's Coffee Bar. I'm going to see you next Wednesday. This same gang is going to be here. So, Dima, don't ask me whether I need you again. You are here back by public demand next Wednesday, 8 o'clock. God bless you. Have yourselves a great evening.
Thank you, sir. God bless you. I love you all. Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Bless you.
Amen.
Thank
God
you.
bless.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. God bless you. Have a good one.
Bye.